welcome back. Today I'm here with my February TBR. So if you guys don't know, February in America is Black History Month, and in honor of that, I will be reading a lot of books by Black and African American authors, which I am very excited to do. I will also be participating in Blackathon, which is a month-long, used to be 2 weeks, now month-long, readathon being hosted by Jessie over at Bow Ties and Books, Lauren from the novel Lush, and Francina Simone. I will link all of the information for that down below, and I do actually have a separate TBR video where I talk about my official TBR for Blackathon, so I will link that up above if you guys want to check that out. But briefly, I will mention all of the books that are on my Blackathon TBR, and then I will talk about the other books that are on my TBR for February. One quick order of business that I wanted to mention is you can now find all of my discount codes for Etsy creators that I work with linked in the video description down below. I don't get paid for these. They do occasionally send me free products to promote on Instagram, but the discount codes are just for your use, and they are all products that I love and had started purchasing before I worked with them. So if you guys are interested, those will always be linked down below if you want to check them out. Alright, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. So starting off with the books that are going to be on my TBR for Blackathon, like I said, I do talk about these in more detail in my TBR video. I have Forbidden by Beverly Jenkins. I will also be reading An Unkindness of Ghosts by Rivers Solomon. This is adult science fiction. I forgot and didn't mention this in my TBR video, but this does feature a main character who is autistic and queer, so that is to meet one of the challenges for Blackathon. Then as my graphic novel pick, I will be reading As the Crow Flies by Melanie Gilman. I also plan to finish up the Binti trilogy of novellas. So I have Binti Home and Binti The Night Masquerade by Nnedi Okorafor. I had read the first one several months ago and really liked it, and I've been meaning to get to the rest of them for a while. And then if my audiobook request from my library comes in time, I will be listening to The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. I read this book in hardcover last year, but it is the group book for the readathon, and I've heard that the audio is really fantastic. Elizabeth Acevedo is a slam poet and does the audiobook herself, so if that comes through, I'll be listening to that for a reread. Okay, moving on to other things that I want to read this month. I have already started a couple of things. I am going to be reading Black Enough, Stories of Being Young and Black in America by E.B. Zaboy and a bunch of authors. This is 17 short stories written by Black YA authors about being young and Black in America. I have so far only read the first story. I'm doing this as a buddy read with Katrina from Fabulous Book Fiend, and we are going to be reading one story every day. And so far, the first story was great. I'm really looking forward to this. And I love E.B. Zaboy. I love a lot of these authors. You've got Daniel Clayton, Jason Reynolds, Nick Stone, like lots of really great people writing. I am also hoping to finish up a book that I started a little bit last month. This is The Gilded Wolves by Roshni Chokshi. This is a little bit Six of Crows heist-ish, but set in Belle Epic Paris with a diverse cast of characters and an interesting magic system. I've heard mixed things about this, but so far I'm enjoying it. I'm not very far into it. I kind of had to set it down because I had a bunch of things I had to read for review last month, but I do want to finish this up this month. And then early on in the month, I plan to read a book that I have for review from the author. This is Starmark Rising by Shami Stovall, and this book comes out early in February. I don't recall the date, but I will put it on the screen so that you guys know when it's coming out. And this is an adult sci-fi novel that sounds really cool. The cover's amazing, and I'm excited to pick this one up. I don't remember exactly what all it's about, but I know it involves genetically modified humans and like a badass female main character and fighting in space, so this should be really fun. Another buddy read that I'm going to be doing this month is Halsey Street by Naima Coster. I'm going to be reading this with Jocelyn from Yogi with a Book. So I'm really excited to pick this one up. I don't know a ton about it, but I know it is about an artist living in Brooklyn, and I think it's like adult literary fiction. It's a debut novel, so we're going to be reading this one together. And then there are a couple of other books that I need to get around to reviewing. The first one is Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. This is the sequel to The City of Brass, which I really loved last year, so I'm going to be reading this. Harper Voyager sent me an arc of this for review, which I'm actually going to be using for a giveaway on Instagram. I do have a hardcover signed edition from going to, well, launch event for this book in The Gilded Wolves. So I'm going to read this. This is the sequel It is a Middle Eastern inspired fantasy novel. And then if I can get to it this month, I have an arc of a sort of women's fiction romance book. This is The Cliff House by Rayanne Thane. This was sent to me for review by Little Bird Publicity. It comes out in March, near the end of March. So I may or may not get to this in February. We'll have to see what happens, but I am gonna try to. It's about 3 women who are at a crossroads in their life. So yeah, hopefully I can pick this up. So my goal every month has been to read 1 book by an indie author, 1 nonfiction book, and 1 work of translated fiction. In January, I read 3 books by indie authors, 3 nonfiction books, and 0 books of translated fiction. So we need to try to remedy that this month. So again, on my TBR from last month is my translated fiction pick. This is The Three-Body Problem by Cixin Liu. It won a Hugo Award. It is Chinese-inspired sci-fi that is translated from Chinese, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. I do really want to pick this one up. I did not get to it in January, but hopefully I can get to this in February. For my indie pick of the month, I'm going to be reading a book for the Dragons and Tea book club with Melanie from Mel's the Any, and someone else. I need to remember everybody's names. I'm so bad at this. Sorry guys, I will link it down below if you guys want to check it out, but I participated last month, and this month they're reading A Girl Like Her by Talia Hibbert. In December, I read Mary Inkmas by her. She's an indie published adult romance author, and I really enjoyed Mary Inkmas, so I'm excited to read more from Talia Hibbert. So I will be reading that along with the group for the book club, and then also using that as my pick for an indie author book of the month. I have 3 possible picks for nonfiction this month, and all of them are by Black authors. So we're about to get into the books that I've got on my TBR that I may pick up that are by Black authors for Black History Month. The first option is We Are Not Yet Equal, Understanding Our Racial Divide by Carol Anderson. I do have an arc of this. I never got around to reading it. It came out in September, but this is a YA version of White Rage, and I've heard good things. It's also not very long, so I think if I pick this up, I could get through it pretty quickly. I do want to read it at some point. I also have Dreams from My Father by Barack Obama. I have not read any of his books, and I would like to, so I do have this on my TBR. I might pick this up this month. And the final nonfiction book that I might pick up this month is a book that was gifted to me from Mara over at Books Like Whoa. She loved this, and I suspect I will as well. This is Eloquent Rage, A Black Feminist Discovers Her Superpower by Brittany Cooper. I believe this is sort of a feminist memoir, if I'm not mistaken, but I know that she really loved it. It's intersectional, and yeah, I don't know a lot about it. Again, it's not very long, so hopefully I can pick this one up. Then I have several other books by Black authors that are on my TBR that I may pick up this month. I have Sing Unburied Sing by Jesmyn Ward. I've heard mixed things about this, but I know it did win an award. I've heard some really fantastic things. This is adult literary fiction with maybe some magical realism elements to it, I think. And I want to say the main character is a boy whose father is getting out of prison. I've heard it's like fairly dark but good, so I might pick this one up if I'm in the right mood for it. Also on my TBR is Akeda Witch by Nnedi Okorafor. This is YA fantasy set in Africa, and I've heard really good things about it. I actually have both of the books in this duology to read, so yeah, it sounds like fun. I think I will like this, so I might pick it up this month. Also, a book that's shown up on my TBR several months, and I never have gotten around to it, even though I suspect I'm really going to enjoy it. This is Rosewater by Tade Thompson. This one came out also in September. It is a debut author writing sci-fi set in Nigeria. So yeah, it's from Orbit. I like a lot of what Orbit publishes. I suspect I'm gonna love this. I just need to actually pick it up. So I'm really hoping that I might be able to get to that in February. Also, one that I've been really anticipating and saving for this month, this I'm pretty sure I'm gonna read this month, is How Long Till Black Future Month. Month. How many times can I say that in like 5 minutes? Okay, this is by N.K. Jemisin, who, as you guys know, is a favorite author of mine. I am really excited about this. This is a collection of short stories with a Afrofuturist spin. It's a beautiful book, and I'm really looking forward to picking it up. And then the final book in this category is another book that is adult literary / historical fiction. This is The Known World by Edward P. Jones. This actually won a Pulitzer Prize. I don't know a ton about it, but I know it is a novel about a black man living in the South, and I don't know, it's prize winning, so maybe I'll finally get around to reading it. Okay, so there are those. A couple other things that I would like to maybe pick up, we'll see, is Magic Burns by Alona Andrews. This is the second book in her Kate Daniels series. I read book 1 in January. I would like to keep going and like pick up some momentum because I want to read the series this year, so I have that. Also, I have an arc of The Last Life of Prince Alastor, which comes out in February. This is the sequel to Prosper Redding, which I read last year and really, really loved, so I'm excited about this. I do have an arc. I also have a finished copy, which I have not hauled yet, but yeah, so I would like to read that. Okay, so there's that. Also, I always have audiobooks coming in that I've requested from my library, so some of those. I've got a couple of e-arcs, although not that many to get to this month. So we'll see. That's what's on my radar, guys. Was that long enough? Was that enough books? Yeah, it's a lot. I do not anticipate that I will actually read all of these, but this is kind of what I'm trying to pull from this month. So hopefully that gives you some idea. I think my 2-year-old does not want to take a nap if you hear him crying in the background, so there's that. Anyway, I am tired because I also just filmed my wrap-up, which was like the longest video ever, so if my throat and my voice are going, that is why. So talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts on any of these if you guys are reading them. And question of the day, let me know if you are reading anything in honor of Black History Month. I would love to hear what is on your TBR. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.